kept showing up with samples nobody asked for and quotes he could have emailed. Every visit he asked my assistant if I had 5 minutes. I never did. Then he crossed a line. I found out Monday morning when Lillian told me my father showed up at my apartment building the night before, claiming a family emergency to get past the doorman. The doorman didn't buy it and called my cell. I told him to deny access completely. My father sat in the lobby for 2 hours checking his phone and watching the elevator doors before finally leaving around 11. This was different from showing up at my office. He found out where I lived and tried to force his way in with a fake emergency. I emailed Victor about a vendor conflict of interest involving Ridley and Sons, explaining that the owner was my biological father, who abandoned our family 13 years ago and had been using the business connection to attempt personal contact I'd declined multiple times. Victor had me bring documentation to his office that afternoon. I handed him a printed timeline of every phone call, every office visit, every time my father showed up somewhere he shouldn't have been. Victor said this was exactly what their policies were designed to address and asked if I could continue managing the account fairly. I told him the truth. I couldn't be fair about it anymore. He reassigned the account immediately and told me to keep documenting everything. 2 days later, Victor called to say my father had contacted him directly, spending 10 minutes complaining I was being unprofessional and letting personal issues affect business decisions. Victor shut it down and told my father to stop using vendor relationships to pursue personal contact. The man who pretended I didn't exist in a grocery store was now harassing my boss. That evening, my mother called shaky-voiced to say my father showed up at her house that afternoon. Every question he asked was about me. Was I happy? Was I seeing anyone? Did I talk about him? She told him she wasn't giving him information and he needed to leave. I called my cousin, who I suspected had given him the address. She hesitated just long enough that I knew the answer before she said yes. She said he seemed so sincere about wanting to make amends and she thought she was helping. I told her she violated my trust and put my mother in danger. She got defensive and said danger was dramatic. I said showing up at someone's house unannounced after 13 years of silence was not normal behavior. I told her if she gave him one more piece of information about us, I would stop talking to her too. She argued that he was still family and maybe I was being too hard on him. I said fine and hung up feeling angry and betrayed that my own cousin was feeding him information and acting like I was the problem. The next week during a contract review meeting, the receptionist knocked to say someone in the lobby insisted he needed to see me about an urgent vendor issue. I told her to have security escort him out. Lillian texted later that he made a scene, shouting about being treated like a criminal when he just wanted to talk to his own daughter. Multiple employees heard it. Rhett from security showed me the footage. My father's body language got aggressive when confronted. He pointed at the elevators, pulled out his phone like he was going to call someone, then yelled something at reception before finally leaving. I authorized a trespassing warning. That night my mother called crying. She got a letter from him about how proud he was of everything I accomplished, how he knew he didn't deserve forgiveness, but was dying inside not being able to know me, how he thought about me every day and regretted leaving more than anything. Parts of it almost got to her. The words sounded genuine and painful. Then she stopped herself and remembered something important. He had